building your life and building your wealth versus really cutting back on lifestyle?
I love this question. I am not a fan of penny pinching or really, trying to. I'm a fan of doing what feels good and finding the way that money feels good in your life and in the way that it's there, right? So being responsible, of course, but I don't love like penny pinching or cutting everything, because what you're doing is you're cutting off your excitement, you're cutting off your happiness a lot of times, and you're really like sacrificing right now. Whereas I think you can do it a different way. You can love your life, and you can, I use the term invest in your happiness. When you really look at everything, so I always use the term invest, because when we invest, we expect a return. And so when you use that, like, okay, if I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy this stuff, like, what's the investment I'm going to get back? Okay, like, is it worth it? Go, oh, like, I don't really need that, I'm just buying it to buy it. Or we can go, I really love this. Like, I'm going to love it every day. It's an investment in making me smile every day, or helping me cook dinner for my family, going to the grocery store is an investment in feeding my family. And so I like to look at it like that. And I think when you start to look through that lens, it becomes easier to save. And that's what I did, is I just started looking at everything like, is this have a return? Because I was somebody who would go spend money on just to, I don't know, because it was a quick hit high. But what I really learned to love was investing in the things that really made me happy versus just spending money. And when I did that, my expenses naturally lowered. One of the reasons I could retire at 32 is because I looked up and my expenses were like $2,000 a month. And that was everything. And I didn't set out to pinch pennies. I just started investing in my happiness and knowing I wanted to be financially free.
That's right. No, that makes sense. And it's like that work-life balance. It's the same thing. I mean, do you need to be disciplined about your spending and your expenses? Yes. That means different things to different people, but you can't be reckless with your spending. Regardless of how much money you make, you could always spend more than you make. So I think we're in agreement. And let me just tell you a little of the background, Cassie. In preparation for this is that, so there's this website, it's Choose FI, and they have a very successful podcast. I'd like to get myself as a guest on the podcast, so if they're listening, please invite me on. But then they have like local chapters, Cassie.
Okay.
So, I've been monitoring the boards, and I'm excited about it because financial independence, you're going to build wealth. Again, I'm on that journey. It's what I spend a lot of time. My expertise is helping clients with that. But a lot of the questions are on the board are, how do we reduce our grocery bill? And there's nothing wrong with that, and maybe it's because I'm 48 now and I've achieved a decent amount of success, so it might be that. But when I think of FIRE movement, I don't get enthused about, hey, I cut my grocery bill from $100 to $60. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this other than
I get it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound much fun.
It doesn't sound much fun, and I can tell you from experience, I was just having this conversation with a client of mine. It's like, oh, I invested this, I did something that I really wanted to do, and there's more money, and that was the same experience I had. One of the first trainings I took about money, they were like, you have to invest in fun. And when I started doing that, at the end of the month, there was more money in my account. I'm like, I don't understand how I'm spending more intentionally over here to get, at that point for that was like massages and facials. And I had more money.
Right. Purposeful with the money. Be deliberate. Be smart about it. You have to earn it somehow, passively or however. You want to take good care of it.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm glad you liked that question because I kind of felt maybe I was putting you on the spot because I've spent more time looking into the FIRE movement than maybe you have. But it sounds like there's a lot of similarities in how we look at it. So I know you're an author. You've written several successful books, but as we kind of wrap up, books that are not your own, and hopefully people go to your website. We'll give it out towards the end, and they could check out your books, your website, your coaching program. But can you point to a couple of books that you think have had an impact on you and your money stories as you've achieved success, especially in your 30s?
Yeah. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad was probably the first book I opened that really started to open my mind, like the original Rich Dad, Poor Dad. 20 years ago was the first book that said, okay, you could be an entrepreneur, you could be a business owner. I think that had a really big impact on my life. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is a book that I was like, okay, I get this. It was all in alignment with what I knew from studying things about our brain and our mind, but it put it in paper in terms of money.
Okay.
Yeah. And those are two of the biggest ones. I really, as a coach, I really encourage people to find one path, one author they like, do everything they say, versus go look at all, like read 100 different books. I'm not a person who reads 100 different books, but those are really two that, started me on my journey.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. So it's Cassie Parks, and if they want to get more information about your books, your coaching, your course, where do they go?
Cassie, Cassie, Parks, like Parks and Rec.com. And if they want to know their money stories, there's a free download. You don't have to put your email in. You can just get the download of all the money stories and take a look at them.
Wonderful. So, again, like I said, Cassie, you and I didn't know each other. We didn't really prep much for this either. Did this go like you expected? I probably shouldn't ask that question.
Oh, it was awesome. I loved it. It was so great and so much fun. You're a great interviewer.
Very good. I hope we could connect again. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. I will be back with you on the next episode of the Simply Financial podcast very soon. Thank you.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of SagePoint Financial Incorporated and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Please note, the information being provided is strictly as a courtesy. When you link to any of the websites provided here, you are leaving this website. We make no representation as to the completeness or accuracy of the information provided at these websites, nor is the company liable for any direct or indirect technical or system issues or any consequences arising out of your access to your use of third-party technologies, websites, information, and programs made available through this website. When you access one of these websites, you are leaving our website and assume total responsibility and risk for your use of the websites you are linking to. Securities and advisory services are offered through SagePoint Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Insurance services offered through Elliott Wealth Management, LLC, not affiliated with SagePoint Financial.
Simply Financial is part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can find Exvadio podcasts at exvadio.com/podcast, the Apple Podcasts app, iTunes Store, iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you find podcasts. So join us and stay informed and entertained.